I swear on my mother's life, this thing happened. It was supposed to be a normal school trip. We were SS2 students from Lagos, going to visit an old historic site in Ogun State for our history project. Everybody had been looking forward to it for weeks, because it meant no classes, no assignments, just enjoyment and maybe some light note-taking to make it look like we were working. That morning, the school compound felt different, lighter. Students not going on the trip were already jealous, waving at us like we were traveling abroad. Some even said, "Buy me gala or bring back biscuit." The excitement was so thick you could almost touch it. Our school bus wasn't anything fancy, old yellow paint, cracked seats that squeaked whenever you shifted, and windows that didn't slide smoothly. But that morning, it felt like the best vehicle in the world. Baba Tond, our driver, was already inside, one hand on the steering wheel, the other holding a paper cup of hot tea. His face was serious, like he was about to drive the president. Our history teacher, Mr. Keod, sat in front with his big brown file. He was the type of teacher that could spot chewing gum from 10 meters away. Tall, dark, with a thin mustache, and the kind of eyes that made you instantly sit up. We left school by 8 a.m. sharp. The weather was perfect, bright sun, cool air. The bus engine was humming well, the road was smooth, and inside the bus, everyone was in high spirits. We sang songs, clapped, shared chin-chin and groundnuts. I sat near the window with my best friend Sola, who had smuggled in a packet of plantain chips and was acting like it was gold. We had been on the road for maybe 2 hours when it happened. The bus suddenly stopped. No warning, no strange noise, just dead. The hum of the engine disappeared, replaced by an uncomfortable silence. Baba turned. "What happened?" someone shouted from the back. I don't know," he said, turning the key again. Click click. Nothing. He tried again. Still nothing. At first, nobody panicked. Buses break down sometimes. But after the third attempt, the mood began to shift. Some of us stood to stretch our legs. Others peered out the windows, looking at the unfamiliar road. That's when the phones came out. We wanted to call school to send another bus. But the moment I unlocked my phone, I froze. The date at the top of my screen was March 12, 1985. I laughed nervously. "Sola, check your phone. My own date is doing rubbish." She checked. Same date. Titi, who was sitting 2 rows ahead, checked hers. Same thing. We passed the news down the bus. Everyone's phone said the same date, including Mr. Keod's. "This is impossible," he muttered, frowning. "Everybody, put your phones away. It's probably a network problem." We tried to believe him until we saw the village ahead. It wasn't far, just down the road. But something about it was wrong. The houses were small mud structures with rusted tin roofs and wooden shutters instead of glass windows. No electric poles. No motorbikes. Not even the sound of a radio. As we approached, the people stopped what they were doing to watch us. Women pounding yam, children playing with tires, men carrying bundles of firewood on their shoulders. Their eyes followed our every step. One old woman, her wrapper faded and fraying at the edges, stood up from her stool. She began walking slowly towards us, her gaze locked on our faces. She didn't smile. She didn't say hello. She just studied us one by one, like she was counting. Finally, she turned and called out in Yoruba, "Baba Kola. Bring the book." A man appeared from a nearby house holding a large, old photo album. The leather cover was cracked and peeling, like it had been kept for decades. His hands trembled slightly as he opened it. He flipped through a few pages, then stopped. He turned the book towards us. Inside was a black and white photo of our school bus. Same bus. Same number plate. Same uniforms. And then my stomach dropped. Every single one of us was in the picture. Me. Sola. Titi. Even Mr. Keod. We were standing in front of the bus, smiling. But none of us had ever taken that photo in our lives. The date, written in faded blue ink below the picture, read, March 12, 1985. Nobody spoke for a few seconds. I could hear my own heartbeat in my ears. Mr. Keough finally cleared his throat. Everybody, let's go. His voice was tight, like he was holding something back. We didn't argue. We left the bus where it was and began walking. No one complained about the heat or asked how far we had to go. It was like we all understood we needed to get away from that place, fast. We walked for almost 2 hours. My legs were aching, and the straps of my backpack were cutting into my shoulders. The sun was high now, beating down on us. But eventually, we reached the third road. There were electric poles, modern buildings, shops with glass doors, and the sweet, familiar sound of a generator humming somewhere nearby. We stopped at a small shop that sold cold drinks. The fountain bottles had condensation running down the sides. I swear it was the best drink of my life. We stayed there until a kind driver with an empty minibus agreed to take us back to town. When we arrived at school, we went straight to the principal's office. All of us were talking over each other, trying to explain what happened. He didn't laugh. He didn't say we were lying. He just stood, went to his desk, opened the bottom drawer, and pulled out an old newspaper clipping. The headline said, "School bus disappears with 21 students, never found." The date, March 12, 1985.